Hello and welcome back to the channel. We're back today with another rebuild for you, and this time we're going to someone a little bit higher up. We're going to Chelsea. Now you may be wondering, why Chelsea? They've got all this money in the world. They're going to get there eventually. Well, are they? They struggled last season. They spent a lot of money and it didn't really go to plan. So we're putting a bit of a 5-year plan in place today. 5 years to win the Champions League. So let's dive in. Chelsea rebuild. Let's go. So here we are at Chelsea. We actually came into not a year in advance, but the updated transfers because there was some mix up some of the date stuff. So we started this at actually the season of 22-23. But the most recent transfers have happened. If we go over here quickly into the transfers tab, we can have a quick look. The likes, of course, of Mateo Kovacic leaving for Manchester City. That's happened, of course, now in real life. The likes of Kai Havertz going to Arsenal. Edouard Mendy making a switch over. Kante, again, a lot of these players going over to Saudi Arabia. So it'll be interesting to see how we can get on with these players out the door and how we can do with our current crop of players, of course. Coming at the start of the season was Christopher Nkunku coming in from Leipzig as well, so he'll be in this team. And we can try and maybe build the team around Nkunku and see, will he be the main architect of this team in just 5 years? And see if we can win that Champions League trophy, of course, for Chelsea. I mean, the squad that's here is already very, very good. Of course, the likes of Ben Chilwell, Reece James. I mean, James had a few injuries over the recent seasons. It's nice to see that natural fitness of still at 15, but hopefully he can still be that key player and not get too many injuries. Enzo Fernandez was a big transfer back in January, of course, coming in from Benfica. And you see Lukaku, of course, returning from his loan spell. There's talks right now of a potential move where he switches for Vlahovic at Juventus. It hasn't happened, of course, yet in real life. So we do start things off with Romelu Lukaku, of course, right now. Ziyech, we mentioned in the intro, is actually still here, but in real life, he has actually moved now. So again, a lot of players that could potentially still move in this transfer window in real life right now, yet alone in the game. We'll see what happens over the course of a season now and see what happens with this team we have right now just in one season. Let's go ahead, end of season number 1, see what happens with this Chelsea side. And we're back, season number 1 in the bag, or very nice known doors. I mean, with Chelsea, it's a bit of a more of a weirder rebuild because you can see there straight away, facilities and everything else, all like they're one of the biggest clubs in England. So essentially, a rebuild probably isn't overly needed, but at the same time, there's a lot of dead wood in that team right now, and they're bringing so many players through. And how you're going to get them players into the first team is quite interesting to see, which we're going to show you now how we've done it ourselves in this first season. So, how did it go? How did it go? It weren't too bad. The Carabao Cup came to the 3rd round, lost to Aston Villa, and then I was like, oh, okay. This could be an issue. This could be an issue. But the FA Cup, we got as far as the final in the FA Cup. Going all the way, losing to Manchester City 3-2 in the final. Final game of the season, of course, the FA Cup. Not bad, really. Lukaku, you can see, actually plays the matches for this season. We'll get a little bit more into him a little further into this video. But yeah, Haaland, Foden, Bernardo Silva getting the goals for City. We got goals for Fana and Lukaku, but it wasn't enough. Losing out at Wembley, so got to a cup final first season with the team that's already here, which isn't overly bad. But it's the Premier League, the main one right now, to see if we can win the Premier League, and then, of course, moving on into the Champions League. But essentially, the main thing was this season, getting back into the Champions League, which we have done, of course, finishing 4th in the league, behind Liverpool, who won the league, actually. Manchester United and Man City coming in 3rd. But our Chelsea side, not a bad season, really. So yeah, 38 games, winning 23, drawing 5, losing 10, though. That's quite a high number when you look at the teams of, like, Tottenham below us only losing 9 all season. The other teams above us, of course, losing a lot less. So there's some work to do. And I mean, goals for as well. Liverpool scoring 100, Man United getting 103. We got 84, which is, again, is a lot more than Spurs got, and Brentford, oddly enough, in 6th place as well. Arsenal being the shocking one here, getting 8th as well this season. Quite an interesting one there for Arsenal, only coming in 8th this season, but it's not a bad first season for us, really, at Chelsea. Of course, there's a lot of dead wood I want to get out the door. There's a few actually on free agency. If we can go here now, you can actually see, leaving into this contract, Thiago Silva, Jamie Cummings, backup goalkeeper, won't get played anyway. Hudson-Odoi, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, all going on free transfers, so they'll be at the door. Thiago Silva's actually already agreed a deal to go back to Brazil to Flamengo as well, so fair play to him. Go retire over there. I mean, he's 39 at this point, so it's probably about time he get home and go and retire safely over there. But yeah, interesting results throughout the season. I mean, losing to Liverpool 3-0, losing to Spurs 2-0, not ideal results, but we did beat Manchester City 2-0, Lukaku getting the goals in that one, then losing to Manchester United straight away on the back of that as well. So it's an interesting one, but again, fourth in our first season is not too bad. So, of course, for this save, we have picked one of the tactics that we use and we've released here on the channel. So we are using the MurphFM Ultimate 4-2-3-1 for this one. I thought this one suits Chelsea the best. I mean, in terms of their first season, we put the best 11 in and get a bit of an idea. Lukaku and Nkunku in that cam role. Ziyech, of course, is actually here in this rebuild, but maybe for not much longer, who knows. Sterling. Chalobah starting that DM role alongside Fernandes is a bit of an interesting choice. But of course, the likes of N'Golo Kante have left the club in real life and they're having this rebuild. So we don't have him there no more. James Fofana, Thiago Silva played his final season at the club as well. To be fair, he started all 38 games this season and playing one from the bench as well. So he's been very, very busy at that ripe old age of 39, playing a lot of football this season. So maybe a replacement can be needed for him long term. Maybe Levi Colwill makes a step up now and becomes a starter here at Chelsea for the upcoming season. But yeah, we're using the 4-2-3-1 system that I released a couple of weeks ago. We've used it in some other rebuilds, and it has been very, very effective. It does kind of suit Chelsea's style where they brought Nkunku in to be that cam type striker replacing Kai Havertz, who has left the club now. The wingers out here cutting inside, supporting the main striker. Again, main striker, is Lukaku going to be the one going forward? Do we kind of think, right, Lukaku in real life, he doesn't want to be at Chelsea. Chelsea don't really want him there no more. But this season, 23 goals in 29 appearances. Overall, 28 in 33. He's a really good striker still at age 31. It's like, do you want to kind of push away from Lukaku now because of real life situation? He doesn't want to be there and they want to replace him. Or do we stick with him? Or do we look at something, a nice new shiny toy to put up front for Chelsea? So it's season number 1 in the bag, done, completed. Big tot up in the board there. It's given us 57 million to spend in this upcoming transfer window. So let's simulate now to the start of season number 2 and see what we've done transfer business-wise ahead of the new season. Our first one, doing some transfers here at Chelsea. So we're back. It's the start of season number 2. It's August 11th. Our first match is tomorrow against Everton in the Premier League. And you can see pre-season looked pretty good actually. We beat Napoli 4-0, Southampton 5-0, so we're doing good. But we have made some changes to this team. So let's have a look at a deep dive and have a look what has actually happened now here at Chelsea. So we go back to last season, of course. We started at the very end of last season, made that money, and we cashed in straight away. Starting off with Gio Reyna coming in from Dortmund. I mentioned Nkunku being that cam position player for us. Reyna could come in and take that role and move Nkunku into a different position, but we'll get more into that at the end of the following season. You can see where I've actually played him. But coming in, he's a pretty good player to be fair. 21 years of age, 36.5 million coming in from Dortmund. I thought it's a good advantage to try and get another American player in as well, of course. Pulisic leaving his most recent transfer window. I thought he's very versatile. He can play midfield, he can play out wide, he can play through the middle. You could probably play him as a striker. I mean, the finishing's quite low. Composure at 16, though, is quite a bit of a bonus for that as well. And he is fast as well. So a very versatile player in Gio Reyna coming in. The young American lad comes in. And we'll kind of see what happens with Gio, if he's going to be that starter or possibly a backup player for Nkunku or elsewhere on the pitch. The other one that came in before the transfer window did open, of course, then was Josip Sotalo for 8 million, potentially rising to 9.5 million. I mentioned we needed a new replacement for Thiago Silva. Sotalo is exactly that. I mean, a cheap fee coming in, you see straight away. Great heading at 15, jumping reach of 16. He's 6'3", so set pieces, he'll be up there. He can defend them really well. Good passing at 14, marking 16, tackling 16. He's just a very good workhorse defender that can really win the ball back for you and create chances that are in the pitch with that high passing. A decent vision of 11 for a defender, so he can run with the ball as well. Acceleration of 14, dribbling of 13, pace of 14, and strength of 15. A very complete defender. Someone I used actually in my network save this year with Roma with Hood Gaming over on Twitch. You can find the Twitch link down below. You can watch some more of the live streams Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So yeah, Sotalo comes in to secure up the defence. And then July 1st hit and bang, we went and spent 94 million. Starting off with some free transfers firstly. Wilfried Ndidi came as a free transfer from Leicester City. Of course, Leicester were in the Championship last season, played every game, 2 goals, 10 assists in the Championship. Not bad, big wealth really, but as a free transfer, it'd be wrong not to get him in, really. Of course, quite highly valued, still 47 to 51 million. He's only 27 years of age. Possibly that replacement for Nkante, like long term. N'Golo Kante, of course, leaving for Saudi Arabia. There isn't really much of a replacement so far. Enzo Fernandez, of course, coming in, playing a similar role. But Chelsea losing Jorginho early that season as well. So, and Kovacic going to Man City. There wasn't really much bought in midfield-wise. I mean, of course, Loftus-Cheek left as well. So, loads really left. And the likes of Gallagher promoted to try and be more first-team players in that first season. But we thought, Indeed, he can come in and be a complete ball-winning midfielder, being at the more defensive role of the DMs as well. So, I mean, he comes in. Great little acquisition after play, for free as well. Can't really moan. And Nico Ravella, again, also joining. Same sort of thing. Another DM. Good cover for Ndidi. Good cover for lots of Gallagher playing there. Enzo Fernandez. Free transfer. You can't really moan as well. Juventus wasn't really playing there as well. But signed from what? Back in 21. never got in the first team. He had 2 appearances in the first team in-game, of course, as well. So, didn't really play for him. And again, we brought him in now for 75 grand a week. So, it's a lot of money, but he's a workhorse. He can pass the ball really well. Passing of 16, vision of 14. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on in his first season at Chelsea. This next one's going to be an interesting one. Tammy Abraham re-signs for Chelsea, of course. Started his career at Chelsea, had loan spells at Bristol City, Swansea, Aston Villa before leaving for 35 million back in 21-22 season for Roma. Some great seasons there, 17 goals, 14 goals, and we bring him back now for 69 million. A monster wage of 160 grand, but I mean, he's just more complete in that pressing forward role. He's just a better version than we got of Lukaku already. Taller, he didn't get as much strength. I mean, the pace is there, the agility, good finishing as well. I'm really confident that Tammy can be our golden goose striker, our main key player up front for the rest of this rebuild, basically, and he'd be the one that gets us the goals throughout this entire process. So Tammy, welcome back to Chelsea. Keepers, of course, Mendy left for Saudi Arabia. Kepa, it was a bit hit and miss, hasn't he? So Kakir comes in from Trabzonspor for 10 million. Great goalkeeper, 28 years of age, Turkish international. He joins us now, 85 grand a week. I mean, attribute-wise, looking on screen, he just looks really, really good. Happy to get him in. Not really much more to say about him. I mean, you can see here, like, clean sheet record last season, 12 clean sheets in 32 appearances, conceded 22. So not bad for Trabzonspor. Not a team that's probably won the league recently as well. In Turkey, it's been a while now, so not a bad acquisition indeed. And then Paul Warner was the last one, coming from Bayern for 14.5 million. A bit of a younger one, hopefully a wonder kid of the future, maybe. Again, very versatile. You can see that on the left-hand side. Can play right wing, cam, central midfield. He can play very much most of the pitch, really, apart from centre back and right back. He's got some sort of experience. Even unconvincing, he can play a lot of positions. Very good player by looks of it. I'm interested to see how he develops throughout this side, but value between 30 and 20 million, so not much more we paid for him already, of course, coming in for 14.5 million. But I'm quite happy with the acquisition of Paul Warner coming in, and that was our transfer business done. 94 million spent. Sales wise, Lukaku being the big one. He went to Manchester City. So this is a bit of an interesting one, of course. Haaland's already at Man City. So Lukaku's going to come in. He's down actually as a regular start at 245 grand a week, so he'll be happy with that. The backup now, possibly to Haaland, and Julian Alvarez as well, of course, being there. So some big players at Man City. Maybe we're kind of helping a rival team here, and it could potentially spoil us winning league titles on Lukaku there, maybe, but we'll see how that goes long-term wise. The other ones, really, a few free transfers. I mentioned Silva going. Mudryk on loan for the season. He's not good enough to be in the starter really right now for me, so I feel like a loan out on season. We'll see how he gets on out on loan this season at Crystal Palace. Value 53 million, high wage as well, but a season of first team football at Palace could be what sort of thing he needs right now. But again, the rest of some backup players. Charlie Whips are going to PSG is a bit of an interesting one, actually. Youngster making the switch over to PSG now. Well, he valued quite highly as well. Potential rating of 4 stars as well, so maybe someone we can try and get back in the future. Possibly, I guess we will see. But yeah, let's have a look then at these best 11 now as we go into this now, of course, using the MurphFM 4-2-3-1. Tammy Abraham now leading the line, of course. Ziyech still starts, quite an interesting one as well. I mean, the likes of Fofana can play out there. That's Fofana, of course. We've brought in Gio Reyna. Maybe he can play on this side in the future. But we'll see throughout the season what actually happens. But Chalobah's starting with Fernandes right now, and we've just brought in new CDMs as well. So indeed, he maybe possibly could sit there. More than likely, you'd think so anyway. Talo now starting with Fofana, but he does have an injury to start the season. He's going to be out for 2 to 3 weeks. So we'll see what happens. But again, Levi Colwill, Badish, there's a lot of defensive options there. So let's find out, shall we? Let's simulate season number 2 and see how we get on with our new looking Chelsea side. And we're back. End of season number 2, of course. We've spent that money. We've seen the transfers. We looked at what the team looked like. How did we get on? There was a slight mistake previously. I thought it was in the Champions League. We actually wasn't. We was in the Europa League, and we got as far as the quarterfinal for losing to RB Salzburg. An interesting team to lose out to, honestly. I thought we'd have a better chance of getting here all the way, but it seemed it was not to be. We lost a 3-1 that first leg, and he kind of put us on a downer straight away. Didn't get a plan. Fofana getting a red card as well. Kind of wrote us off quite early doors in the second leg, which couldn't bring it back. We got a 2-1 victory. Ziyech getting 2 goals in that one, but it wasn't enough, and it saw us go knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Europa League, which is a bit of a failure in my eyes, realistically. But It was a season of failures, it does feel like, because you can see here, runner-up in everything we did this season. First off, the Carabao Cup final. We were the runner-up in the Carabao Cup final, losing out to Liverpool 2-1. Liverpool's been very, very good, it seems, in this save so far. FA Cup, Liverpool again. Liverpool again beating us in extra time, a 1-0 loss there. And then the actual league itself, we came second place to Liverpool yet again. Both of us played 38 games, of course, winning 25, drawing 6, losing 7. It's the same results throughout the season. Their 4 was 77. We scored 75. The goal difference is literally bang on 51. I mean, we couldn't get much closer to a league title if we had tried that season. We can see 2 less goals and they scored 2 more goals. The goal difference was level. It went down to head-to-head, it seems, and we didn't win the league because we lost to Liverpool throughout that season. So, we don't actually win the Premier League just yet, but we've gotten one step closer at becoming second. I mean, like I said, it was a season of runner-ups. It did seem like the season of runner-ups, but there was some big news. And you can see here in the scoring charts, Tammy Abraham was the man. We did say, would he be the man for us? Could he be the one that does it all this season? 20 goals in 33 appearances this season. I mean, in total, we've got 32 goals in 48 appearances, including club competitions and internationals as well. So a very good season for Tammy, coming back to Chelsea and doing the business for us. Some other key players I can probably mention as well. 21 assists for Christopher Nkunku with 14 goals. I mentioned he'd be the one we'll probably build the team around in that cam position. 27 years of age now, and he's looking absolutely insane. Attribute-wise, looks really good. He's been doing the business in season as well. 7.19 average rating as well. That's not bad for Nkunku. Ravella as well was an interesting one. He actually started a lot more games than I thought this year. Starting on 31 games, getting 18 assists as well. Ravella looking like a very good acquisition now after that free transfer from Juventus. Raheem Sterling, again, 10 assists, 16 goals. That Fofana did start a lot more games in the end. We did mention him and Ziyech be competing, I reckon, this season. Fofana did end up starting a lot more games than we thought he would be. In the end, getting 5 goals, 4 assists in the Premier League, but in the cup competition total, 12 goals. Not a bad return. We can mention Reece James, of course, getting 8 assists, 2 goals. I mean, 2 goals, not really a lot, but I mean, the 8 assists from right back, always good. Enzo Fernandez. Nicholas Jackson, of course, who did sign in real life. I haven't really mentioned him yet, of course. He was a potential long-term striker for Chelsea, but we've bought in Tammy instead. He's going to be our backup through this save. I look at it now, at least for now anyway. Things should change quite quickly in these saves, but he's still very good. He can play out wide as well, so he could play there a lot more for Ziyech in the future, but we'll see how things go on. Of course, season number 2. The season of the runner-up, it seems. So we'll see what happens now. We're going to go ahead to season number 3 and see how we get on in the transfer market and planning for the new season ahead. And we're back ahead of season number 3 here at Chelsea. Of course, we had a fair bit of money to spend. We still got 16 million left to spend before the season actually starts, but I thought, with our first game coming in just a few moments' time, tomorrow actually, in fact, for the Community Shield versus Liverpool, we'd come back in now and start looking at our newly transformed team here at Chelsea. And we start things off at the back end of last season before July 1st ticked over as Manu Kone made the switch from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Son I've been using in my Twitch save this year with Borussia Mönchengladbach. He's absolutely insane. Big money spent for Manu Kone coming in and making the switch over to England here. But I mean, he's a great player to come in for Chelsea as well. We want someone a bit stronger in that DM role. We've been trying to feed different players out there so far. I thought with Ravella, it looks pretty good, but Manu Kone can definitely step in and be that long-term replacement and be that long switch to join Enzo Fernandez in those DM roles. Very great player coming in now, 120 grand a week, not bad. 24 years of age, he's here for the long term. And of course, then July 1st ticked over and we started making some big sales. Firstly, Conor Gallagher made the switch, of course, over to Saudi Arabia for 15 million. Malang Sarr leaving on a free transfer. Kepa going on a free transfer as well over to Saudi Arabia. So a lot of players leaving for the Middle East right now in our game. But we did bring in some big transfers ourselves. Starting off with Giorgio Scalvini making the switch over to Chelsea, 58 million. Great little player, of course, playing at Atalanta for the last few seasons now. I say little, he's 6'4". He's far from little, but he's an absolute solid defender, and he will come in and secure a certain starter place in this Chelsea side. And then the last one, someone who's actually made the switch to Saudi Arabia in real life, Jordan Henderson at age 35, coming in on a free transfer. Extra depth in midfield, of course, good leadership. He's been around the Premier League his entire career at this point as well. Very great player, of course, Sunderland, Liverpool, even a loan spell at Coventry is in there as well, making a free transfer switch over to Chelsea. So Hendo comes join the boys, but again, definitely will not be a starter. As we go now to pick our best 11. You can see on scene now straight away. We mentioned Kone coming in the start of Enzo Fernandez, Banky's in there. Fofana now making that permanent switch onto the right-hand side, starting there now for us, called Ziyech. He's dropping off now a little bit, so he goes down to the bench as well. Scalvino in there for Starlo. So again, our new boys sitting in there nicely, and the team is looking so much stronger ahead of season number 3. Could this be the one where we actually challenge and possibly win the Premier League? Let's go find out. So season number 3 is in the bag with Chelsea, and it seems again we just cannot win the Premier League. We'll go to the Premier League first, and we'll come back to the competition because we've done pretty good this season. We come second again in the Premier League. It's second back-to-back seasons, both coming second. This time, it's Man United who people to the title, only by 1 point. Again, having played 38 games, we won 26, drawing 5, losing 7. We lost 1 extra game. Then Manchester United, their goals for was nowhere near as well. A few goals behind us there as well. So a very good season for Chelsea, but we lose out by 1 point this season to the league title. Man City again coming third. They're not having a very good time so far within this save, having not won a league title since the start of it. So a very close, it's just a very good running for Chelsea again, almost going all the way, but again failing to win that league title. In terms of competitions though, there was a trophy in there. We did actually win the Carabao Cup this season, beating Man City 5-1 in the final. An absolute monster scoreline by Chelsea to absolutely batter Man City in this one. So a great game for us. And a great first trophy to win, of course. You can see there, Lukaku as well got 4 goals for Man City in the season. It wasn't enough to win them the Carabao Cup. Other comps, we didn't win the Community Shield. We mentioned it beforehand. We lost to Liverpool on penalties. Liverpool just a bogey team, it does seem in this game. We lost to Arsenal in the 4th round of the FA Cup, and we lost to Barcelona in the semi-finals of the Champions League. We went all the way to the semi-finals. The final hadn't been played yet between PSG and Barcelona. We went all the way. PSG knocking out Spurs, beating them 5-2 in aggregate, and we lost out to Barcelona in that semi. So again, close, but we couldn't get the nail in the coffin. Champions League, maybe next year, of course, we have qualified yet again for the Champions League. So fingers crossed we can go 1 step further in season number 4 and hopefully reach the final. So ahead of season 4, we have 64 million to spend, a big budget again yet to spend. I'm not sure whereabouts you've really improved this team right now. It does look very, very good. You see Reina starting at the moment as well. We have switched him out a few times as well with Kunku this season. And Kunku being the main guy in that position as well. But right now, I'm not sure where we actually improve, but we'll go ahead now to start season number 4 and see what we've managed to do and how we've managed to improve this Chelsea team even more. So we're back is August 2025, ahead of season number 4, managing Chelsea in this rebuild. We had a bit of money to spend last time out you saw us. We have 12 million left remaining. But of course, things do kick off tomorrow against Leeds in the Premier League. So let's have a look at the team and how we're looking ahead of this brand new season. Of course, mentioned we had quite a bit of money to spend, and quite a bit we have spent indeed. We'll get into it shortly. Firstly, we should probably go to the back end of last season. Jude Bellingham made the switch over from Real Madrid. Big Jude, my boy. I mean, you can there behind me on the shirt. But Jude Bellingham makes the switch. It seems like pennies, to be fair, considering the big money he went over there for initially. 53 million to bring him back to England now, playing as a Chelsea player. I mean, he is now aged 20. He's 23. He feels absolutely nothing. He's a few years into the game. He's only 23 years of age. Absolutely insane. But a great player to bring in. So Jude made the switch at the start of the new season. And we did make some outgoings in that last little bit there as well. You can see now a few people went on loan, free transfers. I mean, nothing massive really. Marlon Gusto being the big one, going to West Ham for 10.5 million. But bar that, nothing really mad happened. And then July 1st happened, and the sales carried on going. The big one being Joseph Sotalo leaving for 40 million to go to Tottenham Hotspur. It wasn't here very long, was it, Sotalo? 9.5 million, sold for 40. Big profit mate on that one. Henderson went to Crystal Palace on a free transfer, and then a few backup players, including Ravella, going out on loan. He had a great first season, Ravella, and last season didn't really play enough for me. 22 appearances. He's not a starter. He was from the bench for a lot of those games. You can see now 19 from the bench, 3 starts. We got better players. Of course, Jude coming in as well, adds to that midfield. So Ravella is out the door on loan at Barcelona. And then we made some more transfers as well. Of course we made more transfers. Of course we did. Ciro Immobile, of course, made the switch from Lazio on a free transfer at age 36. He's been at Lazio for a lot, the best time of his career, hasn't he, realistically? Of course, being at Juventus in the past, Dortmund, Seville, but Lazio for the majority of his career here. 16 goals last season. That's not bad for the 36-year-old striker, but he comes in now as our backup striker. Number 99, Ciro Immobile, joins Chelsea. Frank Kessie also came on a free transfer. Just midfielders. We just love midfielders. We just like buy lots of midfielders all the time. Of course, Milan most famously went to Barcelona for a few years. Didn't really play in this game, so out he goes. Now over to us. We went to Real Madrid again though, spent some more money. This time, Roger Ibanez, of course, formerly of Roma. made the switch to Real Madrid in-game for 39 million. We go in, 50 million, bang. He makes the switch and adds some more defensive cover with Roger Ibanez. Possibly going to be starting that left-footed centre-back really for us in that back four. He does look very good, so maybe he'll be our starter for this season. And then the last one being Vanderson coming in from Monaco. Be a right-back cover, a new right-back there in Vanderson, of course. He went from Gramero to Monaco in 21, 9.5 million. We bought him for 16 million. I don't think that's a bad deal, really. He looks very, very good indeed. And following all that money being spent, there's only one change to our actual starting 11 this season, with Ibanez now coming in as that ball-playing defender on the left-hand side of that defence, of course, coming in to replace Wesley Fofana. I mean, defensively, and everything looks very, very... It's like Bellingham doesn't even make the team right now. I mean, does Bellingham coming for here for Manu Kone? Possibly, maybe. But again, he's a bit more of an advanced player, so maybe not that far back on the pitch, possibly. So we'll see what happens in the season, how we're going to play him, where we're going to play him exactly. But the team looks very strong now. This team is ready to win a Premier League title. So let's go find out what happens in season number 4. So we're back, season number 4 in the bag for Chelsea, and we finally won a Premier League title. We'll start off things there. We did finally win the Premier League. It took 4 seasons, but we've finally done it. Playing 38 games, winning 27, drawing 4, losing 7 all season, scoring 92 goals. That's miles ahead of Man City in second there on 81 goals. Only conceding 23 goals all season as well. I will take that all day long with a goal difference of 69 on 85 points. Well done, Chelsea. We finally managed to win our first league title. The rest of the comps didn't really go to plan. Again, the Carabao Cup. We lost another final in the Carabao Cup again. I know we won it once now, but still, we lose another final in the Carabao Cup. This time, losing to Man City 3-1 in that one, and then losing the 5th round of the FA Cup to Arsenal, and losing in the round of 16 to Bayern Munich. So, everything else not as good, but we won the Premier League, and that was my main goal, try and win the Premier League, and then, of course, the Champions League within 5 seasons. The Premier League now has been ticked off. Finance-wise, we have 99 million to spend going to the final season. Our final season, 5th season, of course, of this rebuild. 100 million pretty much there to spend, try and make a team capable of winning the Champions League in this season. We'll touch on a few more key players quickly as well. And Nkunku again had an outstanding season, 15 goals, 26 assists. Raheem Sterling, 19 goals, 12 assists. Tammy Abraham bagged 34 goals again. He just loves scoring goals for us in this formation. He's doing it for absolute fun. But happy about failing to reach Champions League last stage, supposedly. I mean, round of 16. Obviously, that's the last stage. He's a bit unhappy. So, will he stay? Will he go? I guess we'll find out in the coming weeks. Jude, of course, played amongst 38 games in the end, so we weren't sure if he was going to start much this season. He did end up starting quite a fair bit. I mean, most games went to Gakir, of course, in goal, 59 appearances. Tammy Abraham, 54. Sterling, 51, and down from there. So, let's go ahead then. Season number 5, transfer business time. We've got 100 million to spend. Can we build a team capable of winning the Champions League in the final season of this rebuild? And we're back. Season number 5 kicks off tomorrow against Tottenham in the Community Shield. And of course, we had 100 million to spend in that last transfer window. So how did it go for us? You can ignore the first one, of course, here being Wes Foddington. He came in as a staff member. I'm not sure what's come through there. He retired straight away. But we can start off with Andreas Strauderup coming in from Benfica for 38.5 million. 23 years of age now. 33 Norwegian caps already at the age of 23 is absolutely insane. But this player has really developed and looks absolutely incredible. Of course, he started off at Nordirland at the end of last season in real life. Made the switch to Benfica for 7.75 million just this summer. And again, he looks absolutely insane. He's done really well every season. So he comes in now to be our potential starter now on the left-hand side, replacing Raheem Sterling in the left-hand side of our midfield. And then we added a few more bodies, but of course, outgoings first. Outgoings first. The big one being Trevor Chalobah. He went for 30 million over to Brighton. Great player, but it didn't really start for us in the end. And then, of course, we also let go Wilfred Ndidi. He went to Manchester United for 13.75 million. Towards the end there, 9 appearances in that last season. It's not many. We've bought in other options. Out the door, Ndidi goes. Other outgoings as well then. We've let Mudryk go for free to Leipzig. I mean, he came in for all that money to Chelsea. 63 million. We've let him go for absolutely nothing. Didn't play for us. Didn't play at all. Wasn't good enough. Out he goes. Angelo went on loan to Besiktas. And the big one, that Trevor Fofana left for 75 million for Bayern Munich. Yeah, he had a good few seasons, to be fair. Last season, he'll get 10 goals, 6 assists as well, 7 and 6 there. I mean, he's done really good for this save for us, but other options came available. 75 million seemed too good to refuse. And he gave us even bigger war chests to play with going into his last season. So we'll dive into those transfers now. Mark Gay came from Crystal Palace for 34.5 million. A bit of English defence comes in as well, of course. Now, former Chelsea player comes back to the club now for 34 million. Not a bad bit of business, really, of course. He's got a few England caps now, 40 caps behind him. So, an England centre-back now comes in to help us at the back. Joining Kim, of course, then was Matthias de Ligt. We used the money straight away from Bayern Munich and we gave it back to him. Because we bought de Ligt straight in from them for a total of 73 million. Been a Bayern for a few seasons after leaving Juventus. Still looks really good in game. He's only 27 at this point as well. And he ticks every box I look for in a starting centre-back. So, whether he replaces Scalvini in this team or Scalvini goes to a DM position, we'll go into that in just a moment. But for a defensive option, de Ligt is absolutely solid. Then, the last two. We'll go to Koopmeiners first. Koopmeiners made the switch back to Europe. Of course, he goes over here to Saudi Arabia for a few seasons here. Al Hilal had him for a few seasons. 14 million. We bring him back now. Still looks really good, 29 years of age as well. Great DM. Again, we mentioned about Scalvini moving to DM. Maybe Koopmeiners as well. We got Bellingham as well. Enzo Fernandez. There's a lot of players who can play these roles, but we've built a squad now. We had the best starting 11 already in the league. We've built a squad now capable of going all the way in the Championship, I do feel like. And Tommaso Balzini was the last one that came in. Just a really good cam to come in for a free transfer, honestly. Like, the fact he was available for free from Empoli is absolutely insane. And, I mean, for cover, absolutely perfect for it. 24 years of age, looks really, really good. Can probably still develop quite a bit more as well, 24, but he looks absolutely insane. So, the all-important team, the team going into the new season, our final season of this rebuild with Chelsea, looks something like this. There's a few changes in this team. There's quite a few changes. But in terms of an overall team, it looks very solid indeed. So Agurkan going to start in net, Reece James, de Ligt, Scalvini and Chilwell's going to be our back four now. Interesting because, of course, the likes of Ibanez came in last season, had a very good season. He isn't starting no more. Wesley Fofana, he's not a starter, but as backup defenders, they're absolutely mental to have. Koopmeiners starts with Manu Kone in the defensive midfield roles. You're probably thinking, you've got Jude Bellingham in that team. You've got Enzo Fernandez is injured, to be fair. But, I mean, if he wasn't, maybe he'd start, maybe he wouldn't. Jude on the bench, though, I mean, it's not a bad team, really. That'll probably switch around quite a lot this season, of course. But we've got options in every position. I mean, we've got to look at Koopmeiners now. We can see here next to him. De Ligt's actually been better, supposedly, in CDM. Scalvini, Reece James, Manu Kone, Enzo Fernandez. Ravella, of course, has gone out on loan this season. Frank Kessie, and even Jude Bellingham's down, quite low down there, because, of course, he's more of a midfield/attacking option, really, for me. But, I mean, even in the cam position, again, though, Reina, Balzini, and Kunku. You can probably play Sterling there, Schroeder. There's so many options at every position now in this team. We've built a team ready to go all the way this season, hopefully challenge. I mean, hopefully win the Champions League, but I'd like to get at least the semi-finals with this team. Now, the team looks definitely good enough. I mean, striking positions, maybe the one weakness, because Ciro Immobile is a bit older now. Nicholas Jackson isn't the predominant striker, not a big goal scorer on this team for us. I mean, I like goals. I mean, if you're looking now, actually, to be fair, in terms of players in this team now, it looks absolutely insane. That is a team capable of winning the Champions League. Let's find out then. Season number 5, our final season of this Chelsea rebuild. Can we finally do it? Can we go all the way and win the UEFA Champions League? Right, we're back. Season number 5. This is the one where we need to try and win stuff now. Have we done it? We did. We absolutely had an absolute great season. Winning the Community Shield, winning the Carabao Cup, winning the Premier League again, and we won the Champions League. We'll start off first with the Community Shield. We've mentioned we had Spurs in that. We beat them 2-1. Easy enough. De Ligt getting 2 goals as well. I love that. Set pieces are OP. Carabao Cup, we beat Leicester 2-0 in the final for that one. Lovely stuff from the boys. FA Cup, we lost to Manchester United in the FA Cup semi-finals. Man, you'd even gone to win it as well. Arsenal actually won the FA Cup in the end there for that one. So we missed out on 1 trophy, but a quadruple is not bad, really. Champions League, it went to penalties against Chelsea. Against Liverpool, even. It went to penalties, and it was actually, luckily, Darwin Nunez who missed the penalty for Liverpool. Goals from Koopmeiners, Schroeder, Varner, Baldalzi and Nkunku. It's making sure Chelsea win the Champions League in our final season of this rebuild. And of course, we'll stop thinking of the Premier League as well. The Premier League ended very, very good. We absolutely dominated in the end, to be fair. You can see here on screen. So in 38 games, we won 28. We won only 10 games. We didn't win that season. Drawing 4, losing 6 all season, which is pretty good. Scoring 81 goals. I mean, it's a lot more goals than everyone else. You can see the least amount of goals by a long shot as well. And we got 88 points. Compared to Manchester United second place on 76 points. 12 points clear to win the league title with Chelsea. That's not a bad return, really. We've done really, really well in this rebuild this year. Our final year of it as well. Tammy Abraham's actually won by Atletico Madrid, oddly enough. But into that, though, 31 goals in 34 appearances for Tammy Abraham. A great season for him. The Ligt got 22 goals. I mean, that's insane. Yeah, 22 goals. I mean, mentioned like in this tactic, in the video with other rebuilds of them, the set pieces are very, very good. And the Ligt, he loves a header. 22 goals for him this season in 50 games. That's not bad return at all. Balzani's the mad one, actually. I didn't think he'd be a starter for us, but he's came in as a starter this season. Starting 41 games, 15 goals, 8 assists. Seeing off Nkunku, but even then Nkunku got 44 game appearances. Got 35 assists this season as well, and 9 goals again. So it's interesting to see where some of these players played this season. Soldier getting a lot of goals as well. Immobile getting 14 goals as well. So even from the bench, Ciro Immobile only started 1 game all season. We got 14 goals from the bench this season. But even lower down this list, like Raheem Sterling this season, played 34 games, 10 assists, 7 goals. Coot Miners, 12 assists, 7 goals, 7 goals to Fana. Paul Warner getting more starts as well, got 7 goals. 18 starts this season as well. He's available for loan. He's still okay and developed massively, but again, I suppose he hasn't really played a lot of minutes in the save. Last season, not alone to Bournemouth as well, got a lot of minutes there. 28 appearances this season though, so not bad for him really, but he hasn't played enough to really develop in this game. But for overall, a very, very good final season, of course. Winning the league, winning the Champions League, winning the Carabao Cup, and winning the Community Shield. It took 5 years at Chelsea, and I mean, we have built an absolute monster of a team. I mean, if we put our best 11 in now for the final time in this save, it's interesting to see Salvini. So they put Salvini now as a CDM. Of course, and Cookie's on the right-hand side now. Bellingham's not even on the main team. Kone's been dropped as well. I mean, it's an interesting team. I mean, there's good backups in every position at this point as well, which is quite interesting to see. But we've managed to win a quadruple with Chelsea. Only thing eluding us, of course, was the FA Cup throughout this save. So there we have it then, the Chelsea rebuild. Complete, lovely stuff. The aim was to win the Champions League within 5 seasons. We did that once. We won 2 Premier League trophies, Carabao Cups along the way as well, and even a Community Shield. So not a bad 5 years with Chelsea. Really sorting them out and getting them back to where they should be. The elite clubs here in the English Premier League. But of course, if you enjoyed this video, make sure, as well as always, to subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, check out some other videos, let me know in the comment section who you want to see on the next rebuild. The tactics will be linked down below as well. Go check the tactics out. And of course, thank you, Tom, for being a part of this rebuild and helping with some of the transfers as well. We have a bit of a team here helping do these transfers. Thank you to Tom. His links are down below. Go follow him on Twitch and his other social networks. But for now, that's going to be all from me. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this Chelsea rebuild. We'll be back, of course, again with another rebuild very, very soon. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again very, very soon.